Look, I'm sorry you don't like it, but that's what I understand a Singapore sling to be. There's maybe 10 different main variations and then dozens more modern riffs from current mixologists. You wanted the fruity, really pink one, I'm guessing. Okay, all right. Let's get to the bottom of the Singapore sling, or at least as close as we can get. Raffles Hotel in Singapore, a luxurious destination to this very day, credits the Singapore sling to bartender Ngiam Tong Boon in 1915. The only problem is he died that year in China. Okay, there's a lot of problems with the Singapore sling story, but let's start there. What seems to be true is that Tong had a sling recipe that he kept under wraps in a safe. By the time his family got a hold of it, however, the recipe vanished, along with anything else of value. Historians clock the Singapore sling's invention to roughly the turn of the century, so it could still be Tong's creation. After leaving China as a young boy, he made his way down the Indo-Chinese peninsula. He went from waiter to bartender and befriended a French chef in what's now Ho Chi Minh. That was his ticket to Singapore and eventually Raffles. The idea behind the Singapore sling was to create something that looked like juice but packed a punch. Its pink coloring allowed ladies to drink it without anyone knowing they were getting absolutely sauced in public. I believe there's a reference around the 1900s to a pink sling for pale people on the island. A sling comes from the German schlingen, which more or less translates to consuming something very fast. We can all respect an absolutely crushable drink. The modern Raffles recipe reads more like a tiki drink, but Harry Craddock's version removes the tropicality altogether. A classic sling is generally a sweetened drink, lengthened with water, soda water, sometimes ginger ale. I lean towards a recipe that calls for bubbles if I want authenticity, but let's face it, the Raffles version, that's a really fun drink. Sure, we'll likely never know the original recipe or if Tong even actually created this gin sling riff. What we do know is that he was a great guy. He housed other Chinese immigrants in his home for free, and he tried to get them jobs at the coffee shop in his home or even at Raffles. His kind nature endeared him to European businessmen who gave him the tools to acquire a huge rubber plantation in Malaysia. There's anecdotes of people turning their lives around after one conversation with him. He might very well be one of the first bartender therapists. That seems worth raising a glass to, no matter what's in it. Cheers. This episode is brought to you by water. It's delicious, you need it to live, and for whatever reason, Nestle seems to own a lot of it. Clink responsibly.